Saturday, collective. Welcome back to Cusp of Roses for your chakra tune-in reading for the Aquarius Pisces new moon energy. I am super excited to bring this reading out to you all, and I do hope it finds you in the highest vibration possible. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure that this is on Do Not Disturb. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into our moment of gratitude, collective. If you are new here, please make sure you read through the description box below so you know how to utilize this reading and get the most out of it. Definitely check out my community board as well so that you are up to date and in the loop on what you can expect from my channel moving forward. And let's go, and go ahead and get started. Ouch, that hurt. I'm going to be offering you guys 3 deep breaths. You are more than welcome to breathe along with me if it feels right for you in the moment. You can also do the prayer that we used to do if you've been here long enough to remember it, or any other prayer or gratitude practice that really will get you centered in your own energy and connected to your higher self or your divine support, okay? So for those of you that will be breathing along with me, let's go ahead and prepare for our first deep breath by blowing and breathing out all the air in our lungs and pulling our belly button to our spine. Okay, let's go. Take a deep breath in. And breathe out. Last deep breath in. Breathe out. Alrighty, collective. I am going to be introducing a new oracle deck for this particular series. It is the Oracle of the 7 Energies. There are 7 chakras that we talk about or that are connected to these decks, so it felt kind of right to add in this oracle for this series. It's more or less based on the energy of 7, which is divine guidance, divine protection, your divine path. 7 is also a number of rest, restoration. So it's also a number of alignment, okay? So I'm really interested to see how those cards will play well with this reading, but let's go ahead and get into our chakra spread, our chakra oracles. Thank you so much, Divine, for clearing my energy and connecting me in with the collective for this beautiful new moon in Aquarius Pisces, on the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces. Please show me what we as a collective need to know under this new moon energy. What's important for this collective to know under this new moon energy? Okay. First card to come out is Despondence. This is third eye energy in this particular deck. They said hold off on getting into that. We'll get to the other cards right quick. Okay, we also have Vanity. This is in the throat chakra, and we have Impatience also in the throat chakra. Okay, so let's move this here. Bottom of the deck, we have Discovery in the root chakra. So some of you are definitely going through or being prepared for another awakening. For some of you, this will be an expansion in your root chakra to really feel rooted and grounded into your being, right? Into your essence, and discovering new facets of what that actually means, right? Like new expressions of that sense of security will be coming in, okay? But let's look at this. We have Impatience in the throat chakra. Some of you definitely will be challenged with having to listen to your higher self on when the right timing for something is and when it is not, okay? In tandem with this vanity card, right? This particular card talks about someone having a spiritual awakening, going through a particular elevation in energy, right? And wanting to kind of come back to the environment they were in prior to this awakening and share that energy, share that information, help other people get awakened in the same way. But it all kind of happens in vain because that energy falls on deaf ears, right? So this is a reminder, collective, for those that are also light workers, that it is not your job to heal for people, right? You can only be an example, right? You can only lead by example by governing your life according to the principles that you believe. And you have to allow others to develop, evolve, and grow in their own timing according to their own beliefs, right? So not everything that the divine gifts you in knowledge is meant for everyone to hear, okay? So that's what that energy is about. And for some of you, it's in tandem with this, right? So having these experiences, having these awakenings, coming into this higher sense of knowledge of self, maybe even just feeling deeper, a deeper connection with the universe and the energy around you, and being very impatient as far as, okay, it's like I'm seeing all these great things, I'm connecting with all this great energy, I'm being maybe shown, these principles, right? Or just being grown and guided as a spiritual being, and being very like impatient as far as allowing the timing to kind of happen, like allowing something to unfold naturally, not speaking to it or speaking on it beforehand, right? It's this energy of, it's almost like sharing the lesson before you've actually grounded it into your practice and your existence and your daily routine, right? So just being a little impatient on whatever growth you're going through. But I do feel like under this new moon energy, it's an opportunity to plant those seeds for more patience, to plant those seeds to be in alignment with an environment that speaks to the evolution and the growth that you've been experiencing, okay? To also maybe detach from that idea of having to carry everyone through the same experience, right? We all grow and evolve energetically in our own perfect timing, regardless of what anyone else's journey may look like, okay? So it's giving that space for people to grow in their own way. And then with this despondence, it's also dealing with that energy on the flip side of that, right? Where you, collective, going through your own growth, growing through your own ascension, going through your own spiritual awakening and falling deeper into awareness. It's also dealing with that energy of people who aren't on that path, or just haven't hit that level yet, or just aren't tapped into the current energy, right? It might not, again, be on their path to ascend at this time. Just dealing with that disconnect, right? And again, you just want to make sure that you're not allowing whatever you're experiencing spiritually to be the rule of thumb for what everyone has to experience, right? And again, I think that's what a lot of the collective will be discovering under this new moon, that this is a truly individual life. Although, yes, we have partners, or we have friends, we have family who help us and guide us and support us, and celebrate with us, right, along the way. But it's truly falling into a deeper identity of self, right? Really connecting with the fact that as you ascend, as you grow, as you mature, as you evolve, it really is all about your connection with the divine. It's about your connection to the growth and the lessons that are being placed on your path, right? And that just because someone else's path is different than yours, collective, or someone else has learned different things, or, uses different mediums, or, has different religious or philosophical beliefs, doesn't negate any love that has been shared, doesn't negate that overall connection, right? That we all, I mean, we're all a part of at the end of the day. So it's like, as individual as life can sometimes feel, it doesn't mean that you have to isolate yourself as a person or think of yourself as separate, right? It's finding that duality between being a part of the one, right? The oneness, but also acknowledging your individual uniqueness, right? So, hi, Ara. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and get into these energies, though. So we have throat chakra and third eye that are super important under this new moon. Okay, if you're new to chakras, you can check out my description box at the very bottom. It's a very quick guide, very general overview of the main 7 that we'll talk about in this reading. Okay, so thank you so much, Divine. Please show me what this collective needs to know about impatience and the throat chakra. What's important for this collective to know? Yeah, you have the 9 of Swords, the 5 of Swords. Oh boy. What's the overall energy? Okay. The Ace of Swords and the Queen of Coins. Okay. Oh gosh, these cards create a lot of dust. Excuse me, guys. Okay, let me get into this. Okay. So we have the Sacral Chakra that came out here, right? The 9 of Swords. Some of you, through this ascension process, through whatever growth that's coming in, because I definitely feel it, it's really having to pay attention to your own sense of urgency around what you're experiencing, and making sure that you are not feeding yourself thoughts, ideas, and energy that keeps you worried, anxious, isolated. Again, it's this feeling of being very isolated or feeling very isolated. Some of you, it's like whatever ascension process maybe you're going through now, it could be based in your emotions and it could be very overwhelming. And so there's this, I'm ready for it to be over. Like, when will this be over? Will I always be feeling like this? And I definitely am here to tell you that you definitely will not always have to sit in this energy of anxiety. Whatever is coming up for you, collective, it's meant for you to address. Right? So why are you feeling worried? Why are you dealing with anxiety or experiencing anxiety in your body or in your thoughts, right? What is your mind telling you that's pushing you in this energy? Okay. And for some of you, it's just this urgency. Again, whether it's an urgency to get through a process or if it's just being very impatient about how everything should kind of happen. Some of you really want to let go and detach from outcomes, right? Like thinking or spearheading one specific outcome for whatever work you are doing internally and really just be open to your highest good. I feel like that will definitely relieve some of your stress here and your anxiety and your worry. We also have the 5 of Swords. It's a throat chakra card, okay? And I think for a lot of you, it's, again, it's again this energy of something external from you, okay? Whether this is what you were always taught to believe about a particular thing, whether this is what someone is saying to you, right? Some form of communication that is coming in that's actually pushing you in this anxious state, okay? And although it's uncomfortable, collective, it does feel like this is something that you have to learn how to navigate through emotionally and mentally, okay? You have the Ace of Swords here as well. There could be just a truth. Again, it's, yeah, some of you might be dealing with projections from other people, okay? And that could also be, again, this despondent energy. Just be mindful of that. For some of you, it is your own thoughts, but you also have the Queen of Coins. This is third eye energy. So, and this pulls back to seeing maybe visions or getting a lot of downloads or communications from the divine about where you are headed, right? Some of you are heading into this Queen of Coins energy. or evolving, I'll say, evolving into this Queen of Coins energy. And it's a process, right? It's a lot of mental work to be able to ground in the Queen of Coins, right? And it just feels like some of you might just be a little impatient with that process, right? Being worried about, for some of you, timing. And that could mean either age-wise, right? Some of you might feel like you're past your prime in some way, or some type of energy like that, okay? Again, be careful of what you're telling yourself, right? Others of you, it feels like some form of truth here, right? Maybe even surrounding your security, right? This is the root chakra energy with this Ace of Swords. Having to really, yeah, for some of you, like I said, it's having to really stand by your own unique truth, but not disconnect yourself from feeling one with everything. And I hope that that makes sense, because it sounds a little Yoda-y, but I don't really know how else to say it. I don't necessarily have the words at the moment, but it's just being very impatient with your process, right? Having your truth, wanting to wield it, but for some of you, there are just some things that you still kind of have to work through mentally, I feel, in order to really be strong in this truth. It's like you have it, you understand it, but to really apply it, it's going to take a little bit more work. And I think understanding that, or getting the downloads about the work that it's going to take to actually ground in this truth of self, could be the source of your anxiety here, okay? Hi, thank you. Let's look into vanity. Thank you so much for being here. Yes. Hi, Ara. Thank you so much for being here, love. I do see you. We have vanity here. Yeah. We have the Princess of Cups, heart chakra energy. Any other messages for vanity in the throat chakra? Okay. Ace of Cups. So you got two aces here, collective. This is really good. What's the overall for vanity for the collective? And the Hierophant. Oh, wow. And you got Judgment. Yeah. You got Judgment, and then the World. Okay. So definitely completing a cycle here in an ascension process. Like that's the main energy. But I do feel like whatever this cycle is, it is an opportunity to offer your heart, offer your sense of abundance, again, your awareness, your emotion in a new way. So some of you could be connecting in with what you feel differently. That might be something that evolves over the next 2 weeks, just feeling very grounded and open with your emotional body, okay? But as far as this vanity, it's like you're coming from a good place with wanting to share this information, wanting to, you know, kind of like get the people around you or your friends or your environment into the same things that you're in. But just be mindful that, again, everybody's on their own unique journey. That even if you're coming from a very sincere place with this Princess of Cups, right, it might not be taken that way, okay? You might be seen as vain or, you know, maybe self-righteous in some way, okay? But again, it's not your job to convince the people around you, the people connected to you, of what the divine has revealed to you. Do you know what I mean? That's for some of you, it's like what you're being shown, what you're being given, what you're being downloaded is for you specifically. Not everything is meant to be shared. And finding a better discernment around that is something that maybe you are evolving into or learning about as well in the now moment. Because you do have the Ace of Cups. So it is, again, a root chakra energy, feeling that sense of groundedness, like I said, in your emotional body and what you feel for yourself, for others, really having this maybe heart chakra opening or a little bit of an awakening in that central area to again, remain connected to the one, right? But also honor your individual journey here. And with that Hierophant energy, this is third eye energy. It's a commitment to that, right? Like I said, what you're being revealed, what you're being shown, right? As far as life lessons, points of growth, right? Is for you, right? It's for you mainly. Now, if you're guided to share that out with others, then definitely heed that guidance. But not everything you experience spiritually, not everything that you see spiritually is meant for everyone else. Okay, so there's a real need to govern yourself with this Hierophant energy. With that knowledge, right? Really tapping into higher levels of discernment around, okay, what is for the collective, right? What could be for the people around me? What can I share? And what's necessarily just more for myself, okay? And I think that through this awakening, through this process, this is a time, collective, where you're going to feel very committed to your process. And that could be the problem as well, is you being very committed to your growth, you being very committed to your path, but then looking around you and seeing no one else is really being committed in the same way, right? Or approaching it in the same way, or not even on that path. And that could definitely make you feel alone and isolated. And again, I keep coming back to that energy. So some of you really just need to know that you're not alone in this. Okay, like I said, whatever's being revealed to you, judgment card, right? Whatever the angels are bringing down, whatever is being resurrected from your subconscious, make sure you're using a level of discernment between what is meant just for you to meditate on, you to grow through, and what you can actually connect and share and, and spread and give and impart for others, right? So some of you, again, completing a cycle with the World card at the bottom of the deck, right? Completing a cycle of looking to others and depending on others for that energy, right? Like wanting them or trying to convince them to do this and to do that and to do this spiritually and gotta do that. It's like, might just want to pull back on that just a little bit, okay? But you're completing that cycle, so that's good. That's really, really good. I'll put these out. Let's go ahead and look into, geez Louise, this despondent energy. Thank you so much, Divine. Please show me what this collective needs to know about the third eye chakra and despondence. What does this collective need to know about the third eye chakra and despondence? Okay. King of Cups, okay. Crown chakra energy. Hold on one second, y'all. I just need to deal with this little... Okay. What else does this collective need to know about despondence? Okay. The Hanged Woman came out in reverse, but I do not read reversals, okay? But I do feel like it flipped out that way because some of you, like I said, are completing this cycle. So you're coming out of this pause, this stagnation with the Hanged Woman, okay? It's also Piscean energy for this new moon. And you have the Four of Wands, yeah. Bottom of the deck, the Eight of Wands, beautiful. Okay. Let's look at this King of Cups collective. So with this chakra energy, right, the reason why the King of Cups is crowned the King of Cups is because they have learned how to utilize their emotional body to ultimately make decisions for themselves, for the people they govern, right, or the people that they're connected to or over, in order to remain in alignment with what's emotionally sustainable, right? And what I mean by that is having a certain balance of compassion and action, right? Where you are so tuned in emotionally to what people need to feel, what they want to feel, what they desire to feel, what would make someone feel balanced and equal or a part of, or, you know, for some of you, the King of Cups is also very passionate, right? But again, there's a certain level of discernment with the King of Cups where they know to reserve that cup for those who can handle what's in the cup. right? And I think that that's also a part of that vanity, right? Like, just because you're on a particular journey, just because you're being revealed certain things, it doesn't mean that you have to force feed that to everyone, right? And the King of Cups is a true master at that, where they know the value of their own emotions. They know who's worthy of being intimate with them. They know who is deserving of that emotional connection and who isn't, right? In the way of this, it's like this is where you want to be taking action from. And again, with the Princess of Cups, I feel like some of you are really grounded in your heart space when you are sharing this information, when you are trying to connect with others through your spiritual awakening or through the spiritual lessons that you've grown through, experienced, the whole nine. And it's needing to trust that that is Ace of Swords, your truth, right? And just because maybe other people see you in a different way or receive you in a different way doesn't mean that your intention, doesn't mean that where you're coming from isn't valid. And that feels really important to say for someone out there. Okay, just because someone doesn't maybe connect with your philosophy or believe in the same ideology or, right, have the same passion or emotion or commitment, right, with the Hierophant, to closing out these cycles, to, right, like to doing the work, doesn't mean that your work is invalid. Okay, King of Cups, remembering your value, really understanding the beauty, really understanding the power behind your emotions and what you feel, right? And not invalidating that just because someone else doesn't feel it, right? Or see it the same way or connect with it in the same way. All right. So with this hanged woman energy, right? Hanged person, hanged man, hanged one. This is third eye energy. It's really being able to see that now. Like for some of you, there might have been a block in your ability to see forward because this lesson had to be learned. This cycle had to be completed, right? And for some of you, it almost feels like your spiritual journey might be a point of, and I don't know if this is even English, but it's like a point of self-consciousness, like being very self-conscious about the growth that you are experiencing spiritually, right? So it could even be on that flip side, right? You're going through a lot of these changes and these spurts and these ascensions and these expansions and these retractions, right? And not necessarily connecting with anyone else who is experiencing the same thing could make you feel like your experience is invalid, is wrong, is not at the right time, or something like that. I'm kind of picking up that energy. So there's a need to look at that different. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a need to really value what you are experiencing emotionally, what you're growing through emotionally, what you're mastering emotionally, and for a lot of you mentally as well, with the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Cups. And that just because, again, I feel like I'm a broken record, but just because there isn't anyone who around you or connected to you in the now moment who can identify with the path you're on, who can relate to what you're experiencing or what you're feeling, right, or what your thoughts are going through, doesn't mean that what you're experiencing isn't real. Okay, it's real, collective. If anything, I'm here to tell you it is real. It doesn't have to be a shared experience for it to be valid. Okay, and I think that is then the foundation here with the Four of Wands and the heart chakra energy. That's the foundation that you actually build on, right? You know where your heart is. You know what the divine has planted and rooted in your consciousness and awareness to grow through, to learn from, to experience, right? You're learning that day by day. And again, not basing your foundation off of what other people feel about what you're going through. And I hope that this is making sense, because this is a very, very crucial part in any sort of ascension or awakening process, is realizing that it's not going to be shared with everybody else. You might be that one-off person who's maybe accelerated at this time, right? People will catch up when they're meant to, right? And that's okay. But that does come with a lot of loneliness. That does come with a lot of feeling isolated. And again, I'm here to let you know you are not alone. in that energy. There are millions and millions of people across the world that you just haven't connected with yet, or you just don't know at the now moment, who are experiencing the same things or going through some sort of process as well. Okay, so really, and what I love about this particular deck in the Four of Wands is that it's a singular person, right? So it's not necessarily union with someone else. It's not necessarily, you know, having a partnership. It is you building the foundation, you coming into harmony, balance, and union with who you are, what you feel, and what you stand for, right? Your Ace of Swords and your Ace of Cups, what you're rooted in, the truth that you're rooted in, and the feelings that you're rooted in, the emotional experiences that you're rooted in, the love that you're rooted in. And again, just because those around you might not be on that same path, can't relate, aren't connecting with it, does not make your experience invalid, okay? And I feel like the moment you ground in that experience here, that's when things start to move a lot quicker for you, collective. Eight of Wands, right? Your sense of groundedness, your sense of security becomes stronger, right? You now find that rhythm within just your own life. Again, it doesn't have to be a shared experience for it to be valid. Okay? Alrighty, collective, let's go ahead and check in with our new Oracle deck, the Oracle of the Seven Energies by Colette Baron Reed. I literally just got this yesterday, so I'm super new to it, but I'm excited to see what will come out. Thank you so much, Divine, for this beautiful spread for the collective under this new moon energy. What does this collective need to know about the new moon? What other advice or guidance do you have for this collective? Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot. Can I just get one more, Divine? Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I love that. All right, so let's start here. We'll go in numerical order. You have body and soul, the vibration of 5. And this is exactly what I feel connected, and they pulled me to the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Cups, right? Ace of Swords, your own soul's truth, right? Ace of Cups, your emotional body, right? What you feel, what you're connected to, what you sense. Just off looking at it, it just feels like there is, again, some sort of alignment happening with your heart chakra, with this beautiful green here, and really being able to connect with all the dimensions a little bit in a way where, again, like I said, and I'll keep saying it, where you're feeling the oneness of everything, but also acknowledging your own unique and individual path. Right? So that just because you feel unique in whatever you're experiencing doesn't disconnect you from everyone else, but that it actually further deepens that connection that you have to the collective consciousness, right? So we'll read a little bit from the book on that. Let's just see just the key concepts, though. Key concepts for body and soul. It says taking care of yourself. Yep. Seeing yourself as a complete package, body not separate from soul, again, part of the one, but still a unique individual, centered in your sense of self, comfortable in your body, your authentic identity, and physical health, okay? So some of you definitely want to, over the next 2 weeks under this new moon, really maybe make a new commitment to taking care of your physical health, to feeling that soul and body connection, however that, will look for you. It's going to be unique and different for everyone, okay? But it's the vibration of 5, which means a lot of change. So there is something in your physical health, and that's been coming out in our dailies as well. So there's something in your physical health practices, however you are utilizing body and soul, maybe body, mind, and soul, that needs to have a bit of an adjustment, okay? Let's look into the next card here. We have the vibration of 6. It is what it is. Beautiful. Perfect alignment with our vanity message, right? It just is what it is. Your life, your experience, what you've gone through, what you connect to, what you feel is what you feel. It doesn't mean that just because someone else doesn't feel it, doesn't see it the same way, doesn't identify the same way, that what you feel isn't real, right? It just is what it is. This also has a tone of like choices, right? choosing to accept that, right, can be difficult. But there is this energy of surrender, right? With it is what it is, right? It just is. Let it be. There's no need to try to force it. Like I said, you don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to chase behind nothing, right? Like it's just, it is what it is, and it's going to be what it's going to be, right? If you believe that your life is already written, right? If you believe in destiny, then what comes, comes, and how you deal with it is how you deal with it, right? And that's also an energy that's been coming out quite a lot. Some of you, it's like hindsight is 2020. And so it's like looking back, it's like, man, I wish I didn't say that, or I shouldn't have, maybe exposed myself that way or shared that experience, or maybe that was just for me, and maybe feeling a little bit of anxiety and regret around that. But it is what it is. You can let it go. You can release it. You don't have to hold on to those emotions. You can choose to feel how you want to feel about your experience, okay? Let's pull a little bit. So let's read the concepts from the book. So for it is what it is, key concepts: radical acceptance, engaging life on life's terms, observing circumstances and taking them at face value, exactly, recognizing and releasing resistance and denial, okay? So that's that energy, and I think that's what this new moon is really giving us a lot of opportunity for, and a lot of space to do, right? To just accept and meet life however life meets us, okay? And then you have healing the heart, vibration of 23, heart chakra energy. And this is, again, what I was talking about, really finally maybe completing this cycle collective of healing work around being on your path, and again, not having the same shared experiences with others. And for some of you, that could have been a really like a point of heartbreak, right? Like really feeling closed off, because it's like every time I share what I go through, no one can relate. So what's the point? Blah, 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 right? Like it's a little bit of that energy. This is the vibration of 23. It is connected to the heart chakra, but that does break down into another 5. So you have 2 5s in this reading. A lot of change, okay, that's happening under this new moon. And again, it is what it is. Surrender to it. Accept what comes. Make sure that you are doing all that you can to connect in with your body, maybe even to tap into what you're feeling at any given moment. Some of you really, really want to ground in a practice of just 5 to 10 minutes of silence. Closing your eyes, listening to your thoughts. Just see what comes up. Don't judge your thoughts. Don't overthink it. Just whatever comes up. What are you feeling, right? What are the sensations going through your body? What is your body trying to tell you through those feelings, right? And I think a lot of you will experience this awakening energy, this sense of growth in a new way, right? Where you can offer your heart the space to heal, and not have to feel, again, so isolated and alone in that, all right? Let's read from the book, and then we will end this reading, y'all. Okay, key concepts for healing the heart, okay? Healing. There we go. Very, very to the point there. Making amends, the willingness to release past pain, being responsible and accountable, taking time to get healthy, renewal and rebirth after suffering. So that's exactly what a lot of you are experiencing under this new moon. I think for overall, it's just feeling those old layers like finally dropping off, right? And some of you have been very maybe impatient with this process of growth that you're going through, but it's definitely worth just being in the moment and accepting what is, right? Not holding on to what you want. Like I said, for some of you, it's really zoning in on an outcome that you really have to just be open to your highest good. And through that process, you'll definitely find a little bit more foundation grounding in your heart space, right? That 4 of Wands energy by yourself, building that foundation of love within you. Very beautiful. Very solemn energy as well. Again, I've been getting that for a while. So if you feel emotional, collective, go with it. Cry if you need to cry. Scream if you need to scream. Get mad, get angry. Get all that energy out so that it's no longer stuck in your mental, emotional, or spiritual bodies, okay? But I hope you guys found this reading helpful, insightful, and maybe filled with some confirmation for what you will be feeling under this new moon energy. Again, really focusing on your throat chakra and your third eye for the next 2 weeks, just to remain in alignment with the energy that is present. And I will see you all in our next reading, okay? I will have the oracles posted and we'll get a little deeper into these messages on Instagram, okay? At Cusp of Roses. Follow me over there if you want to. If not, I'll see y'all in the next one. Namaste.